What screams this person peaked in high school to you? One guy I knew literally got our school emblem and mascot in a huge class of 2010 tattooed on his shoulder. Did he graduate on time? Billy Madison. Actually, I stole this one from Frank. One security question down, 2 more to go. Does he have a tattoo of his mother's maiden name? Yes, and he named the cat after his mother's maiden name. I used to work with a guy. We used to call him Roid Rage. He was very muscular, very masculine, and let everybody know both those things about him constantly. One day I'm sitting next to him in the break room and he's talking to me, unprompted as always, about how he went to attend an award ceremony for his son who won something regarding his football performance. I said, well, that was nice of you to go and support him. Nice? He said. It was effing sad, man. That used to be me. Now I'm the old guy in the room who has to watch someone else win something I should have had, and all I could think was what a loser. You can't just be happy your son won this award and be proud of him. You have to make it about you. At first, I used to be amazed at how people like this can even exist. Losers who live vicariously through their kids. Be proud of your kids and their accomplishments. That is a good thing. But folks like the one you are talking about are more common than I ever would have expected. And I didn't discover this until I was in my 30s. I mean, you're not dead, dude. You can still do things and be proud of them. Why the heck is this guy envious of a high school award? Those are for children. Like the dads who take Little League Baseball way too seriously and want to fight the umpire other parents. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was America. Regularly reposting the same picture of the one notable moment that they had in high school. You want to watch me throw a football over those mountains? 4 touchdowns in one game. Polk High legend. Wow, you nailed it. Lol, this is very specific and very true. There's a version of people who do this with their wedding photos, lol. Anyone who bullies other adults as if they were still in high school. Or people who used to beat up others and call it the good old days. Those who say it builds character. Strong character traits like being okay with beating somebody up. Unfortunately, you need to put up with those people at the office. My boss is like that, always putting people down in the smallest but obvious ways. Never saying job well done. Basically lording over people just because he can. He just turned 50 and is preoccupied with appearing cool like most people grow out of in their 20s, and turns every occasion into a competition or opportunity to one-up you. Guy is also the definition of craft beer is my personality. Can't order a drink around him without him commenting on why his chosen drink is better. Worst part is my pick-em coworker who waits until the boss orders and literally 910 times orders the same beer or cocktail. It is pretty pathetic. One of my single most favorite things about getting older is the massive relief and peace I've found once I've stopped caring about appearing cool. This guy is 50. Pick-me coworker is 40. I feel sorry for them that they are stuck in that phase forever. Under college university in their Facebook profile, it says School of Hard Knocks. This, along with fluent in sarcasm, piss me off more than anything. Just admit that you're an $1 that no one likes. That one KS me because it screams I've organized my personality around being funny. But I say lame. Obvious SH. If fluent in sarcasm is your funny tagline with prep time, then conversations with you are likely to be an absolute chore. There are way too many girls who have that written on their Hinge and Bumble profiles. Still acting like a typical mean girl when they're darn near, or past, 30. About 5 years ago, I ran into one of the more popular girls in school at the mall. She was a cashier, and when I went up with my purchases, she actually said, "Ew, aren't you that nerd from school?" I literally just said hi. After that, I didn't say anything, just paid and left. I felt bad for her more than anything else because she clearly peaked in high school. I was at a liquor store in my hometown around 45 years after graduating, and a popular girl I went to high school with who I was friendly with was working the register. Making small talk, she asked me what I was doing that night, and I told her playing board games with some of my friends who she would recognize. She gave me a sarcastic "that sounds fun," and I just said yeah. Completely uninterested about it, and she came back with "I'm kidding. That sounds fun," in a more enthusiastic tone. I don't think she was trying to be a bee, but it felt nice for me because years earlier I would have tried to justify my plans as something cooler to her, but at that point I just didn't care. The way you told the story sort of seems like she maybe wanted you to invite her or something. Of course I don't know either of you, so I'm just spitballing here. They just graduate from mean girl to mean woman. I think some people are just mean. How do they even have the energy for it anymore? Edit. I'm 32 and losing the energy to care what people I actually know think of me. My ex-stepmother constantly bragged about being a cheerleader in high school and winning a beauty walk, in a town of like 500 people. She was still bragging about these the last time I saw her. She was in her mid-40s. Miss Baltimore Crabs? I was Miss Soft Crab in 1945, and that title wasn't handed to me on a silver platter. I worked for it. Now 1-2 cha-cha-cha. My best friend got divorced and married a woman like this. The fact that she was the head of the cheerleading squad, both homecoming queen and prom queen, is an actual frequent topic of conversation for her. For reference, we are nearing our 40s. She has a display case of tiaras she won. Even has one she keeps in her car and wears while she's driving because she's queen of the road. Some of her personality can best be described as prom queen that had a short stint in modeling after high school, had a kid, and never got over it. I always tell my friend that as long as you're happy. A tiara in the car? Girl. It doesn't get better once you grow up. I told a sub-teacher at my school that people told me this all the time, and she told me the only people that say that are the ones that peaked in high school. I miss her every day. One of my high school teachers explained it like this: don't let anyone tell you that these are the best years of your life. It's a lie. Your high school years actually suck. If you go to college, you'll make friends with people based on shared values, not because you've been in the same school since grade 1. You'll have more fulfilling relationships, more freedom, and as the years go by, more discretionary income. And just when you think it can't get any better, your children grow up, move out of the house, and leave you with the freedom and time and money to do darn near anything you want. But you'll never be this thin or pretty again. So enjoy that. You'll never be this thin or pretty again, without effort. I know a few people, male and female, who looked better a few years later. For some it was better style. For others it was getting fit. Some just grew into their features. For one or two it was just mental. They found their confidence and just radiated good vibes. One went from dork to model. He hit the gym, bought clothes that worked for him, and continued his passion for learning everything about everything. He's my go-to guy on primate studies, military history and strategy, geopolitics, climate studies, farming, and Japanese culture. In return, I fix his computer. LBH, he could probably fix his own computer and likes your company. Still going to every high school football game and sitting in the student section. Living their dreams through their kids. We have a lot of that in my town. Trying to redo it all again. It is a lot. It makes me roll my eyes a lot. My kids enjoyed high school. It was fun watching them dance, do band and play football. But I was not invested in it as if it was happening to me. I wanted it for them. Good things. But if it didn't, I prepared them for that too. When my son's team lost the state championship game his senior year after the team winning the 5 years before and 3 years after, I watched a guy go off on his kid because it was his job to win it. What? My son was devastated. But he still had amazing things to come and has went on to do amazing things. Yeah, he looks back and dislikes they loss. But it was a teaching moment. I played football for 7 years and saw a ton of parents like this. Way to go, Jason, you dropped the effing ball. Get in the effing car. Like, no wonder Jason is first string and a great running back. His very peace of mind depends on playing good. I can't stand SH-type parents. I am terrified of being this parent. My daughter has the same interest I did in school, and I tread very lightly and always tell her if my enthusiasm starts to stress her out, tell me to back the F off, lol. Bragging about high school hookups in their 30s. When my mom asked if I ever experimented with S and DS in high school, I said, sure, Mom. I was part of the control group. Edit. Wow. RIP my inbox. I'm so delighted so many of you were tickled by this response. I'm glad it gave a number of you who commented a laugh, a chuckle, etc. It's very rare I actually laugh out loud when browsing Reddit. Thanks. Man, I gotta tell you, there was one time during junior year that I just wanted some strange. So I used my left hand that night. It was wild. They keep insisting for the next 30 years that they would have taken state if coach would have put them in the game. The man scored 4 touchdowns in one game at Polk High. Then became a shoe salesman to large ladies. No ma'am. Had a pretty nice house for a shoe salesman. I graduated in '05. I was sitting at a tire shop waiting for my truck to get done, and an employee slightly older than me walks up to me and asks me, with no previous interaction, if I played football in high school. Wondering where this was going, I responded that I did, but I wasn't great at it. He asked what school I went to, and I told him. Then he starts talking about himself, how he was all conference and walking me through all of his high school accolades. I never asked for this conversation. I just sat there wondering why this nearly 40-year-old, wildly out of shape, tire shop supervisor was telling me all of this. Then just as soon as it started he bid me good day and walked off. It was bizarre. The best comparison I could make was that he was like the manager Dan from the movie Waiting. That was his vibe. That's how I knew he peaked in high school. How do you know if someone peaked in high school? Don't worry, they'll tell you. One of my uncles, an unclean law, I guess, if we're being technical, would tell anyone who would listen that he was valedictorian of his school and got a perfect SAT score. Even as a young kid, I would sit there thinking this dude is a college graduate, with a career, a wife and kids, and 20 years out in the real world. Why is he telling people at a barbecue that he was really smart in high school? I'll bet you it's because he didn't do so great in college. I've known a few kids who graduated at the top of the class at their small and/or SHTI high school and then found out there's much smarter students at the big universities. Some never get over the shock of learning that they're not really that smart. They want to organize high school reunions every 5 years. They want to organize high school reunion. Social media has made high school reunions mostly pointless. Once upon a time, your last day of high school was literally the last time you ever saw or heard from most of your classmates unless you went to a reunion. Now I have to hear from them every time someone decides to take up an MLM scheme. I don't want your knives, SHTI leggings, or supplements. Please just leave me alone, lol. Almost 10 years after high school, a guy asked me if one of my friends was popular in high school. Was he? My friend? Not really. But this guy was asking because he knew my friend didn't like him much. So he said something along the lines of, was he even popular in high school? I would have been rolling my eyes into the next dimension. I once asked someone this, but it was because he was giving off strong mean girl vibes and I thought that was weird for a man in his early 30s. I wondered if it was a remnant of being a douche in high school, and that was my indirect mod of inquiry. When the former high school bully you beat in a karate tournament with an illegal face kick shows up at your business and all your employees know exactly who he is. And you help train a bunch of kids in karate to beat his students, leading to massive violent clashes that injure and darn near paralyze people. Undeterred, you continue because that rivalry is really all you have going for you, despite having a seriously effing hot wife, successful business, and decent life. That is life in the San Fernando Valley. My friend, karate is king and the dojo wars of the 80s never died. I'm surprised there hasn't been more movies about the 80s dojo wars besides The Warriors, spiritually. In my experience, it's the people that talk about things that happened in HS as if it were yesterday. Constantly. I had an ex who would always tell me crazy stories. I'd ask, when did this happen? She would say sophomore year and we were mid-20s. Over time, it became clear that HS was the best years of her life and most likely will continue to be, as she didn't have much ambition after HS. I had one good year in HS and reminisce about it every now and then, but it is not on the forefront of my mind. Most of my time in school is a big foggy coalescence of unpleasant emotions and the occasional embarrassing memory that springs up as I'm trying to fall asleep. Yeah, that's pretty much how it was for me, too. About the only thing I remember from high school was how much I disliked being there and how much of myself needed to change once I hit college. Hey girl, hey, do you want to be your own boss babe while working from home? And it's just a pyramid scheme. I never associated pyramid scheme people with having peaked in high school before, but it makes total sense. Totally explains the girl I know who has gone through probably a solid dozen MLMs in the last few years, and still acts like a teenager. Joke's on them. I have a legit work from home job and my boss leaves me alone. The people that ask you to join those MLM schemes selling body wraps or the like. Anyone that has a Salt Life decal on their car when they live nowhere near the ocean or even a salt mine. Ha, I like that. Never even considered that to be an option. Edit, misquoted, took out near. Immediately after posting this comment I saw this post. I think the Salt Life sticker would be allowed for this as well. I knew a girl who was 30-something never got her driver's license in a town where the closest store is a 15-minute drive from any location, whose only job ever was Wendy's for a couple months and then MLM scheme after MLM scheme. The last time I talked to her she asked me for $40 and was talking about trying to sell candles online and complaining to me about her boyfriend waking her up at 4 a.m. on her birthday to make her give him a BJ, and then forgot to do anything for her birthday after the fact. That's really sad. Taking rec league softball way too seriously. I played college hockey, haven't played in 10 years. Played a men's league game the other day and a 40-year-old tried to drop the gloves with me and all I could do was laugh. I went to sign up for adult flag football a few years back and it turned out to just be cops, firemen, and ex-college players. I immediately got shoulder checked in the face at tryouts by some cop and hit the ground so hard I got the wind knocked out of me. F that noise. Flag football is either a bunch of people laughing at how uncoordinated they all are, or a group of meatheads screaming between plays like they're in the NFL. There's rarely anything in between. Ridiculing the hobbies of others to make yourself look good. I strongly believe that calling someone hobbyless should become a common insult. This. People cared way too much in this will make or break our decision to like or dislike you over choice of hobby when I was younger and my peers were also elementary, middle school, high school aged along with me or dislike for. Like if I chose to be into Pokemon or Magic. Some other clique I already didn't care about freaked out about it toward me while I just went okay, I'm going to go have fun with my friends. As an adult I realize no one cares that deep and people just freely enjoy or dislike for they choose. Any amount of participation in a MLM scheme. This is so sad. I remember when I was active duty military and nearly every one of my buddies' wives were in some sort of MLM and I just deduced they were either in a load of dead ass. At our rank at the time, we make a decent wage or the wives were just extremely bored because they're all soms or housewives and have nothing to do while husband is deployed training to deck. I can see how military spouses might get roped into it. All the reasons you just said plus maybe looking for a chance to socialize. They tattooed their last name across their shoulders. Till that some people do that. On my high school, a handful of guys had it done all within about a month of each other. I've run into a few of them since and they consistently redirected any conversation we had back to the glory days. It was so awkward. I wanted to do that when I was younger. My father made his opinion known about it and gave reasonable reasons about it. Ended up getting a different back piece and I am so happy he was there to simply say you can do what you want. I can't stop you. But good Lord, please do not get that kind of tattoo. One of those moments that became pretty significant. I had a teacher who said these are the best years of your lives. Since I graduated in 2003, every single year has been better than every year of school since I can really remember. High school was effing awful and seriously depressing. I had to work as a janitor through grades 11 and 12 to pay rent. I dropped out with one class left to get a union construction job. I'm back in university now doing an engineering degree because I have worked to get my life in a position where this is possible. I was told the same BS of these are the best years of your life. I graduated in 2008. My senior year I worked 35 hours a week on top of going to school and worked other various minimum wage jobs to make ends meet after high school. Until I took an IT course when I was 22 or 23. Almost 10 years later I feel like I've almost made it. In high school I was broke. Never had enough time or money to do what I wanted. Only had my car to my name. No love life, and didn't have anything for retirement, on top of living with a controlling parent. Now, money isn't really an issue. I'm happily married. We own our home, 2 reliable cars, nothing fancy, retirement accounts, and health insurance, other benefits too. Good luck in getting your degree and improving your life situation. Talking about high school in every conversation and gossips like a high schooler. I've got a good friend, honestly a great guy. We are in our late 30s. And I don't remember about 99% of my former classmates. My friend has a better recollection of everyone's names, friends, sports, relationships, than I did when I was actually in high school, and often talks about it and I constantly have to say I literally don't know who you are talking about. I don't know if he is just clinging on to those memories or has a savant level memory. He wasn't even remotely popular. He only left our hometown for college so maybe that's it. I was gone most of my adulthood until a few years ago. Same. One of my good friends brings up high school every single time he calls me. Dude has a wife, a kid and a very good career, and yet constantly talks about that happened 25 years ago. That involved people I don't even remember. Neither of us were popular kids. We both took a lot of flack. I moved away and moved on with my life. He still lives in the area and can't seem to let it go. I had a conversation in a bar with a drinking buddy years ago. The guy kept going on about the one that got away. How perfect she was and their chemistry together. How natural it was. How he hasn't felt that way about any girl since. Yada yada. He was feeling pretty sorry for himself and uninterested in meeting anyone else because they could never compare. When I asked how long ago it was that she moved away, he said 8th grade. LMFAO. Stop. Oh, that's awful. This is a weird thread, because I've grown a lot as a person since high school, but life has been unkind to me since then. I look at high school and realize that life was the most stable and kind to me back then. I think the difference is that peaking in school denotes not moving on and living in the past, while school being the best most stable time of your life is more about the drawbacks of responsibility, not the rejection of them. I talk about when I was in wrestling for high school from time to time. For me it was the only positive moment in high school. My best friend, since we were 4 years, and I were on the team and training partners. We had a blast and took nothing too serious. Just the pure joy of beating the crap out of one another in practice and still being friends after it was over. He died when he was 24. It's been almost 7 years without him. My world is different without him in it, and talking about those days keeps him alive. I didn't peak in high school. I wasn't popular. I never went to prom. Never even had a girlfriend, but those days are the few good memories I have left of him. Before he died, he was in a downward spiral and I refuse to remember him that way. That's not who he was.